Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Educated Colin Snap channel. How you doing? So today I wanted to cover the data mines for May and April, I believe. Well, April and May, whatever. The reasons for that is because we haven't really covered data mines before, and I don't normally like covering data mines because the data can change. Obviously, they're not confirmed things, so I don't really like talk about something and then being like, oh my god, look at this, and then a month later it's completely changed, and I'm like, oh well, that makes sense because it was broken. Which is kind of what I see a lot of the time. Sorry. um so that's why, but I do think there are some not cool things to talk about, and other people cover data mines, so it's kind of weird when I just get asked, oh, what do you think about the data mine card, and I'm like, well, I'm not covering data mines, because I'm so, blah blah blah. But I think that's a stupid reason, so I figured I'll just cover it. I didn't cover April when it was announced, so I figured I'd cover it now and just kind of talk about the cards, my thoughts, and everything about the new reveal. So let's get started. All right. So I did want to start with April, right? Obviously, HitMonkey is the April season card. It used to be +3 power for each other card you play, which is absolutely busted. Now it's +2. I actually still think +2 is really strong, especially with some synergies. Imagine if Quinja was still the same way it was now. You could really easily get this to be like +13, or like no, +14 power HitMonkey. Obviously that would take a lot of work. Like that would have to be your game plan, but you realistically could do that where you play 7 cards or something, right? So likely not going to happen anymore, right? But this could easily be +10, right? 2 power 10 is still really strong. So, and especially with like Beast and Falcon and those type of cards, you could definitely add that into that deck list pretty seamlessly. So, I do think this will be a strong card, definitely playable. So, this is a card I probably would spend my season pass on, but like as it gets closer, then I'll make dedicated videos for the season pass intentionally. But for now, like I do think this is a good enough card. Now, Jeff the Baby Shark. Whee! This card seems fun. Honestly, it's a 2 mana 3, right? That you can move. So it's like a better. I'd say it's a better Nightcrawler, honestly. And I think Nightcrawler is a really good card. So having a card that is like Nightcrawler but slightly better, I think is really, really powerful. So I think this will be played. I think it's a pretty good card. The fact that nothing can stop you from moving or play this in any location is actually such a strong ability to have. So I just think this is going to be a very popular card. So I think Jeff is like thumbs up for me. Snowguard, I actually don't know what the hawk or bear is. I got to be honest. I don't know what the hawk or bear is. And that's like something to kind of take a look at. Because even when I look at this, like I have no idea what the hawk or bear is. So honestly, I need to know those details to really have an opinion on this card. I'm sure someone in chat knows, and I'm sure they'll be like, "Well, Collins, this is what it does." Haha! I can't believe you didn't find this out. Well, I didn't. Sorry. So, uh, when March and April rolls around, well, March is now. When April rolls around, and we have more details, right? I'll be able to tell you, oh, this is a great card because the hawk is broken or whatever. But right now, I just don't have those full details, so I can't really tell you um, what it's going to be like. And then Stegron, on reveal, move an enemy card from here to another location. So it's Juggernaut, right? That only targets 1 card, but you can do it on any turn. Seems really good, honestly. So I think this will be played, right? Like Juggernaut I think is underrated. And this doesn't have that downside of you have to guess where they're playing the cards, and you can target a card they have. So this seems pretty powerful. If they think, oh, they've won a lane, you can just say, no, I could move your card. So I like this card. I think it's gonna be played. Seems good to me. So those are the April ones. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know about these cards being added, so I'm not really gonna take too much time with those. The ones I really want to talk about are the May season ones. So we do have the season pass. This is actually not a 1/1. It's actually a 4/6 with a different ability. So Marvel Snapstone does not have this correct. At least this here it's not correct. It's actually a 4/6 where if your opponent doesn't play in that location, it's gonna gain +2 power, except for the first turn. So it can end up being like a 4/10. Even and if you can get out earlier or the game lasts longer, then it can be even stronger than that. So potentially a really good card. I think it's definitely playable. We'll talk more about it as it gets closer, but I do think it's solid. Next one, Iron Lad. So this copies the text of your deck's top card. And I actually think this is a pretty powerful card because you know that you have this in your deck. So you can definitely build a deck around this being really, really good, is my thought process, where a lot of your cards have really good text. And then if you put that text on a 4/6 body, I think you're going to be really happy. So I think Iron Lad in the right deck seems really powerful. So I think this is a pretty strong card, as well as the people who get it are going to have a lot of the pieces to make this a unique and effective tool. So I think this is a really strong card, really something you could build around. So I like it. And then next up, we have Howard the Duck. So this kind of synergizes kind of pretty well with the Iron Lad, where you can tap this to see the top card of your deck. Now, you're going to ask, can you do this every turn? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I've never played the card. Like, what do you what do you expect from me? But it does seem like you can, because it's an ongoing ability. It seems like you can just always use this to always see the top card of your deck. And I think if that is the case, it's probably a very playable card. You just get that extra information. It helps you with Jubilee. It helps you for like your last turn draws. It makes your snaps more confident. It makes you not be as scared of, oh, I need to hit this card next turn, or I need to hit that card next turn, right? It gives you a lot more of a read than players who don't have this, and it only costs 1, so it's not a big investment. So I actually think this is a pretty strong card. Do I think it's going to be broken or dictate the metagame? No, I don't. But I think if you have it and you want to use it, especially if you're running Iron Lad and you want to synergize it like that, then you could definitely do that kind of thing. So I think it's a solid card. And then the one like that everyone's been pestering me about. This is why I'm making the video. This is the one. The next card we have is High Evolutionary. So at the start of the game, unlock the secret abilities of all your cards with no abilities. Now what does that mean? Like that was my interpretation. What are they talking about? So basically what happens is you have this in your deck, and then when the game starts, much like Thanos, you're going to upgrade all your cards in your deck that have no abilities, and there's a lot of them. So here we have a list of the cards that can get changed, right? So we have Evolved Wasp. It gains the on reveal, affect 2 enemy cards here with -1 power. So it turns Wasp into a 3 power card. Seems pretty strong. Misty Knight. When you end a turn with unspent energy, give a friendly card +1. Another friendly card +1. Seems like a Sunspot in a way, right? Where you could just say, okay. And we all know how good Sunspot is. So this seems pretty solid in that. It's not exactly like Sunspot because you can't stack the unspent energy. You're only getting it 1 time. But like saving, having that workout is not a bad way of playing. Then we have Shocker. So on reveal, give the leftmost card in your hand -1. So it's kind of like a Psylocke, but only for your leftmost card, which is definitely not as good. Though it is a 2/3 base, right? So that is the kind of benefit, you do have a 2/3 base. And if you're hitting a card you're going to play, it's the same as Psylocke. And you can make things go to 0 power, right? So there's that as well. So that seems probably pretty good. And the way that the card works, it synergizes very well with what you want to be doing, right? Having unspent energy, if you turn a 3-cost card into a 2-cost, well, now you can play that 3-cost card for 2, and then you have the unspent energy. So it actually just fits in how you want to be playing this archetype. So that seems pretty good. Cyclops, when you end a turn with unspent energy, you affect 2 random cards here with -1 power. So once again, you're turning Cyclops into a 3/6 or 3/4 plus 2 every time you leave a power. So that could be pretty powerful. And the cool thing is you can stack these unspent energy cards. So if you have Misty Knight and you have Cyclops, well, then you're getting a +3 swing in terms of power differential. And then if you're running Sunspot, right, now you're getting a +4 swing. So you can actually really just stack these buffs. And then we have the thing, affect a random enemy here with -1 power. Repeat this 3 times or 2 times more. So you overall get it three times. So it becomes a 4/9 for 4. Like a 4/9 is really strong of a card. So there's a lot going on here. And then here, I think this the best card, like the most broken card here by far, is the Evolved Abomination. So it's a 5/9, but it costs 1 less for each enemy in play that's afflicted with negative power. So I guess it's you do have to have enemy cards in play. So it might actually not be as crazy as I'm thinking, because maybe your opponent just doesn't play 5 different cards. But if you can find a way to trigger 5 different cards, this card is just so crazy. Especially since you can just play Hazmat or something like that and have it just work like that. So this could really be a very powerful tempo swing, this Abomination here. Having a 2-cost 9, a 1-cost 9, a 0-cost 9, like, it's just so strong. So definitely think Abomination is going to see play in this meta if you have the high Evolutionary card. And then Evolved Hulk, it's a 6/12, but it's got ongoing +2 power for each turn you end with unspent energy. So if you really focus on that and just make sure you always have unspent energy, this could be easily a 6/18, a 6/20, something of that nature. So this thing could be crazy. So definitely think you could see almost all of these cards being played. And the thing about this high Evolutionary is you don't have to play all the cards. You could just play whatever you like, right? You're playing, and it's a 4/7 base. That, like, 4 power, 7 power is not bad. You're not really losing that much to play this card. And you get all of this extra power. Like, Wasp is really solid here. And a lot of these cards are not bad abilities. So I just think this is a very hard card to balance correctly. Like, I almost guarantee you that these cards are like this. These effects are gonna change. Like, I almost guarantee, like, this is not how it's gonna stay for a long time, because there's so much potential for abuse with the way the cards work and the interactions and the synergies. There's a lot of power here. So I will say Patriot synergy does not work with this, right? Because you're giving your cards no abilities. So it turns off Patriot. So you can't think, oh, I'm just going to play Patriot and this synergy. No, that's not going to work. But the cards itself become very strong individually. And I think you will be seeing this played. And I'm actually, like, if this gets released with these numbers, I would definitely recommend people to save up for this. However, this is coming in May, and we're getting so much more tokens that I don't think you're going to be like, oh, I don't have enough to save. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of tokens. By this point, people will be comfortable with how much tokens they're getting. and it's just gonna be much easier to save up for Series 4, Series 5s that you want. So I wouldn't recommend, oh, just start saving now or anything like that. I think you're gonna have reasonable amounts of tokens if you're just using your resources efficiently. So I'm not too worried about that. However, I just want to say definitely this is a card you could start looking into. It seems really cool, really powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if this card becomes a part of the meta. There is a talk that this will be a big bad. So this would be a permanently 6,000 cost card. And I can see that. Apparently, they said this is a villain. I don't know much about the lore, but if it is, well, I can see it, right? Based on the ability. The ability looks really cool. So those are the reveals for the data mines for April and May. Some really cool stuff. What's your thoughts on some of these cards? Love to hear it. And that's all I got for you today. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.
Educated calling snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you tomorrow, snap. Your skills will be improving. How you doing? You'll hit infinity.